सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात्। Hope you have the copy of Chatushloki Bhagavat. They're available on the top or on the stage, I think. One of you can take it and distribute it to everybody. The whole essence of Bhagavat Mahapurana, in its most simple, profound form, comes in this 4 shlokas. If you understand the 4 shlokas, you have understood Bhagavat. So you may ask, Swamiji, if it is that simple, 4 shlokas are sufficient, why in heaven are we going through this laborious task of month after month after month, covering each canto over a week's period, covering 18,000 shlokas? Could we not just be done away with these 4 shlokas? Look at the teacher and the taught and their qualification. The teacher was Lord Narayana himself. So in his presence, knowledge reveals. But for the lokahita, for the rest of us to know, he put it in words. That is his Aishwarya. And who is the taught? The student is Swayam Brahmaji, who has 5 times speed of our processing. 5 heads. So their level of understanding is fast enough in 4 shlokas. To understand these 4 shlokas are the rest of the 18,000 shlokas. We can understand a few commentaries on that 4 shlokas and we'll be done with. The firmness with which this knowledge has to be established in our heart requires 18,000 shlokas. And in the Mahatmya we have seen the effect of Dhundukari's son. Dhunduli's son, Dhundukari. Just by Shravana, Sadyo hridyavarudyate trakritivihi sushrushubihi tat kshanat. It is not a paroksha jnana. Paroksha jnana, somewhere, something, you have to interpret it. And it is neither pratyaksha jnana. It is aparoksha jnana. Aparoksha, immediate. While going through the text called Advaita Makaranda, I fell in love with this word immediate because of the potent meaning in it. What does immediate mean? Without any mediation, without any further modification or processing, right here, right now. The one who opens his heart plainly just to pay attention and listen to it and do the manana. Right here, sadyaha, hridyaha, avarudhyate. The effect, the result can be seen. So in order to have that firmness, 18,000 shlokas is what Vyasji Maharaj thought people of Kali Yuga require. So when Brahmaji asks of the Lord, Bhagavat sikshitamaham karavani hyatandritaha nehamana prajasargam badhyeyam yadanugrahat yavat sakha sakhyuriveshate krataha praja visarge vibhajami bhojanam. He says, praja visarge, according to the past kalpa, whatever has come back into the macrocosmic level, to continue it in utmost fairness without leaving an iota of discrepancy. Lord, I need you to bless me with the knowledge, with the ability to do it without a doership, and without any tandra. Tandra is tamasic plus nidra. The jadatva, let that not delude me. In order to facilitate, here the Lord as a teacher is a facilitator. He facilitates Brahmaji with these 4 shlokas. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Yathavanaham yatha bhavaha yadrupa gunakarmakaha tathaiva tattva vijnanam astute madanugrahat. Tattva vijnanam astute madanugrahat. This is the blessings of the Lord. Astute, may it be yours. What? Tattva vijnanam. Very beautiful coining of the word. Tattva, essential reality. Tattva jnana, intellectual appreciation of the logic of essential reality. Tattva vijnana is an immediate experience of that knowledge which you have grasped through your intellect. May anugrahat, madanugrahat, with my blessings, may that be your experience here and now. You deserve it because of your tapascharya. From now, in the next 4 shlokas, you can repeat after me. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Ahameva samevagre Nanyadyat sadasatparam Paschad aham yadetaccha Yo vasishyeta sosmyaham. Aham eva asam eva agre. Agre, in the very beginning, before this creation, before even you were created. Aham, I alone. Eva asam, I alone was, in my absolute state of being. Na anyat yat sad asat param. Other than me, there was neither sat and asat. The very gross meaning of it would be sat, that which is existing, asat, that which is non-existing. But the actual meaning of sat and asat here means sat, that which is existing, can be perceived, cognized as the manifest. Asat, that which is yet to manifest, the unmanifest. Asat can also mean unreal. But here what he means is the unmanifest, that which is not yet manifest. I alone existed in my absolute state of being. Other than me there was nothing manifest or unmanifest or tatparam, or the cause of it, meaning you. Brahmaji is the sole proprietary for creation. Neither there was manifest or unmanifest or the cause for the manifest and unmanifest, which is you, Brahmaji. I alone am, I alone was. Paschad aham yad etat cha yaha avasishyeta saha asmi aham. Paschad, after what? After this whole creation, both from its manifest and unmanifest format, is withdrawn back. Yaha avasishyeta, that which exists, saha asmi aham, that alone I am. In this shloka, Lord focuses on himself. What a way to brag about himself. Focus about himself, the supreme nature of Brahman. What is the supreme nature of Brahman? This we have seen even in Taittiriya Upanishad, wherein Asti Brahmeti Chet Veda. There was one supreme reality. There is one supreme reality. There shall be one supreme reality. When it is one supreme reality, who is the cause of all causes, for whom there is no cause, the rest of all in this creation, if issued, should show a no cause certificate. He is the one who questions, and nobody above him to question him. Because what alone is that supreme. There is nothing other than that supreme to call it existing. So what is his nature? The nature being beautifully described. Aham eva asam. I, the consciousness, alone exists. The moment when we see aham, I, we relate to that aham in a totally different level. When you are hungry, what do we say when we are hungry? I am hungry. What does that I mean? Somewhere here in Madhya Pradesh, there are rats running here and there. And that I is hungry. That I, the body, is hungry. That is one level of I existing. The second level of I existing, I don't feel like it. Or I feel like it. I don't have the mood. Why don't you have the mood? Because you are the mood. Mood, the emotion. The other meaning for which you are laughing is in your mind. I was just talking of the mood as an emotion. So there, when we talk of different emotions, I say, I am feeling this. I am feeling happy. I am feeling miserable. I am feeling elated. I am feeling depressed. I am feeling miserable. At that time, there is a second level of I functioning. The third level of I functioning is at the level of buddhi, the intelligence. And all that we claim of our intelligence is just recorded data. Only recorded data. Just because the ears are open, throughout the years, we gather information, data. And that which we call as intelligence is the ability to use this data as and when required, so that I can fulfill my basic desires. That is the third level of I functioning. Who is this I, aham? It's called the Chidabhasa. And don't get scared with these technical words. Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness. The ego is me. What does this ego do? What is the functionality of this ego? The functionality of this ego can be deciphered in two layers. Aham karta, aham bhokta. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Because I am the one who is doing it. I am the one who needs to enjoy it. Or an extension of I is what has to enjoy it. If you have something sacred, if you have something very powerful with you, whom would you pass that on to? Your own extension, children. Your assets, your properties, everything. You want to transfer it to that extension. I, Karta, I alone has to enjoy it. See, from that perspective, Dronacharya is the most nirasakta person, dispassionate. The great knowledge of archery that he had, if wanted, he could have given it to his own son. Of course, the minorities group have a different color of it. That the imbalance in the society was there even at Krishna's time, and he didn't do nothing. Understand that he did not find his own son qualified for that knowledge, and he disqualified him from learning any further of the subtle arts of archery, which he found Arjuna to be qualified, and he gave that knowledge. Meaning, normally, in a normal sense, whatever I possess, it has to extend it to my own. That is the I. Karta, Bhokta. Between this Karta and Kartrutva and Bhoktrutva, the very bottom line, premise for which we start any activity, I am doing such and such so that I get a result which I can enjoy. Why do you want to enjoy that result? Because it gives me a sense of satiation, happiness, satisfaction. But the moment we get that enjoyment, we are also scared. Why? We know, we are anxious, we are scared, we are afraid, because we know one thing for sure. That which I am trying to enjoy is not going to last long. Is going to die away, wither away in time. That is why the lollipops have become a big hit with the children. I have never come across a kid who says, I don't like a lollipop. Not because of the color, taste or the appearance. It is a psychological effect. First of all, these kids love holding it in hand. They will not open the wrapper even. Looking at it, truptaha. And they're so crazy about it that they hold on to it and go for sleeping. And early in the morning when they wake up, they don't find. So mother thinks it might hurt that kid and keep it elsewhere. Where is mine? I want mine. And then when he opens the wrapper, do you think he's going to chew it away? No. Taste buds are reveling in that taste. And it is not completely finished, still there. Once in a while. And it is the effort right from that age to extend the sense of gratification, happiness, as long as possible through the world of objects, emotions or thoughts. Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva. Now when we analyze further, where does the validity of existence for both the Kartrutva and Bhoktrutva exist? Only if it is enlivened by the conscious principle. That is when there can be a Kartrutva or a Bhoktrutva. A dead body does not rise up and say, "Pankha chala na." I turn on the fan, I'm feeling a little hot, suffocated. They're bound with so many cloths and flowers, and because there is not, that enlivening factor is not existing there. The karta and the bhokta are not there. The karta and the bhokta, why go till the dead? Even while you are alive, while you are asleep, this karta and bhokta are taken inside, withdrawn. You are still the consciousness existing, which again enlivens as though the karta and bhokta. So who is important? When analyzed further, hypothetically, remove that layer of ego, kartrutva and bhoktrutva. Remove those two. For the smooth functioning of body, mind and intellect, just the mere presence of that consciousness is sufficient to function these things. The karta and bhokta goggles are not required. The ahankara goggles are not required. How can we be so sure? When we turn on the light, what is its nature? Whatever is in its proximity to illuminate is its job. To illumine, you don't need another medium, another layer added to illumine. Just the mere presence of that light is sufficient to illumine. Consciousness, whose very nature is illumination, does not require the presence of ego to function. Now, why is there an appearance of that illusory ego existing? That's why it said abhasa matra. That's why it's called chidabhasa. Abhasa, just a mere appearance alone. Because of the system, when the consciousness reflects in it, shines in it, the medium reflects. See, as the quality of the main source is to illumine, in the light of the reflection also things get illumined. Don't they? When we used to plan for things, sometimes gathering as a group among our friends was not liked by our parents. So how do you call that person out of the house without knocking on the door? So we developed a system. Get onto the opposite house, take a mirror, and then reflect it through that window where your friend is. In that illumination he finds call and comes out. Meaning, though it is just a reflection, but the reflection also carries forward the same quality of the main source, which is to illumine. And in that illumination, which is now colored with the layers of likes and dislikes, through the ages gathered imprints, tendencies called vasanas, which again develop into likes and dislikes, forgetting that even this ego exists, that reflection exists only when there is a source. When the source is taken out, can there exist a reflection? A reflection can exist only when there is the source. That reflecting medium, that layer, is called the gathered dust. Remember even in Hanuman Chalisa how he starts? Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raja Nijamanu mukura sudhari Baranau Raghuvara Bimala Yashu Jodayak Phalachari Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja. We take the dust of the feet of the Master, because with the dust alone, the already existing dust, layers of dust that have heaped on to the internal system can be wiped clean. Once that system is purified, debugged of the virus called ego, the medium by itself, clean, expresses forth all the glow of the Supreme. The ego, when not fully developed in those innocent children, below probably 7-8 months old, by the time they are 9 months old, they start having these pretensions, heavy. They might have fallen long ago. And since there was nobody, they were okay with it. They went on playing, they went ahead with their work. When the parents come back, they show. 9-10 months old. Chalaki shuru ho gayi. The doership and the enjoyership, the pampered ego comes into existence. Before which, that is when you look at their eyes, when they are young babies, few months old. How clear, spashta, nirmala. Why? Absence of ego. When you remove that ego, the layers, actual reality is perceived. What is actual reality? The actual reality and its perception means that the Lord and His Shakti, His power, is seen as one. Presently, His Shakti expressing into this multifold universe is seen as distinctly separate from Paramatma. So where am I focusing? Into this separated, distincted Vibhuti of the Lord as the very reality. That when perceived as something other than the Lord is temporary. That perception of temporariness, otherness is called Maya. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. If the world is perceived as other than the Lord, that is when we see or we fall prey to the Maya. But in its actual perception, when can it be perceived? When the layer of Maya is removed, layer of Ahankara is removed. By default, mind, intellect and the body is such a beautiful piece of equipment provided. The organ of perceptions have utmost coordination and cooperation. When the eyes have some problem, your sense organ, other sense organs become more active to compensate for that organ. When everything is fine, each one does its own channel without poking into the other channel. Have you ever seen eyes do the nose job, nose do the ears job, ears doing the mouth job? Which would mean, in practical terms, did you ever smell the flower with your mouth, eat with your ears? It does its own job. And it does very precise job in perceiving the world. Organs of perception, the very word itself, Jnanendriya, that which give us the data, the information, Jnana of the world of objects, is the Jnanendriya. Karmendriya, the one which does execute into the world of objects, is the Karmendriya. They are doing their job very good. Mind gathers, synchronizes That also is an amazing job. But because of this ego and the layers of tendencies existing, when it expresses forth, the mind has uncontrollable, overwhelming emotions and thoughts. You don't know when they come, why they come, how long they will last, and what they will modify into. Totally beyond our control. But remove that particular aspect, the cause being the ego and its tendencies. When removed, mind and its basic functionality is an awesome job. The intellect to process, to acknowledge, to decide does a great job. All of them in their own fields have absolutely great work. He has created a very beautiful system. But the seeming unnecessary existence of a borrowed existence we talk of being truthful, right? The first blatant untruth starts from calling that I, the ego, exist independent of the consciousness that is illumining it. If that itself is untrue, based on that untruth, whatever else we do, can it be real? If there is somebody crying, why are you crying? मेरा बेटा मेरा बात नहीं मानता है. My son doesn't obey. I said, where is your son? I said, oh, that son, when I get married, when he will be born, when I try to mold, and when he starts disobeying, that is bothering me now. That which itself is non-existent, whatever are the repercussions of it, how real are they? Meaning, even if they seem to be real, they are just imaginary. What is real is that consciousness. Agre, before, now and after, what alone exists is that consciousness. Devoid of that consciousness, removed away from that consciousness, anything perceived, anything acknowledged is a limitation, is a bondage. We bond with it to get bound. Paschad aham etaccha yaha avasishyeta saha asmi aham. That supreme consciousness I am, which is the basic reality of this entire universe. I said, probably Brahmaji was thinking, if that is that supreme, why is it that we see what we see with such solid firmness as reality? Why do we have this satyatva buddhi? To that answer, the Lord says in the next shloka, 33rd shloka, Rutertham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidyadatmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. When there is some discrepancy in our vision, when we put pressure on our eyeball, how many do we perceive? You are seeing a moon and you do like this. How many do you see? Two at least. More than what it is. That what you are perceiving, is it real? No, but I perceive it. Right? It is not the fault of what you are perceiving, but it is the fault of that which you are perceiving through. Yeah, when you get to certain age, in India I would have freely used when you are old. Here people are case sensitive. But still I said it, right? Next time I'll be conscious. When you get to a certain age, things don't appear clearly. When you go to the doctor, ophthalmologist, what does he do? Does he change the world? No. That because of which you are not able to perceive properly, that is rectified. You know what you call that layer? Cataract. The cataract is removed. Then wonder, Areva, everything is so beautiful. It has always been beautiful. But that through which you are perceiving was not a proper instrument or a corrupted instrument. So what we are perceiving is anyatha. Na pratiyeta. Is not seen as it should be. Maya is that which makes the non-existent as existent. Yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani. It has got dual effect, huh? This is what I think we were just discussing even in Bhaja Govindam class. What is Maya? Very beautiful. Ya, ma, sa, Maya. There are 2-3 interpretations of it. We'll see how many we can do today. That which exists, there are so many times I'll be using existent, non-existent, so catch the words properly. That which exists appears as exists not. Clause 1. Clause 2. That which exists not appears to exist. That which is appears is not. That which is not appears as is. Why does it happen? Ajnana vashat. Because of ajnana. Lack of knowledge. The moment we have knowledge, all that erroneous perception is washed out. Neither the world is changed, nor the internal. What has to be changed is bring in that knowledge. This is one meaning of Maya. Now what exists and what exists not? What exists in true sense, aham eva asam. That supreme consciousness alone exists. Where? Immediate our question would be, where does it exist? You, me, everything is that supreme consciousness. Pagal ho gaya? Me, supreme consciousness? I don't have a control over my family, I don't have a control over myself. How can I be that supreme? So that which is evident, that which is that supreme is perceived not. And that which exists not, what is it? Is the ego. And the effects of it is taken to be reality. And then pampering of that ego is what we do whole life. Satiating that ego, bloating that ego. I am hurt. Why? Because you didn't pay attention. I was in tension. Where would I pay attention? I don't know. The other day I felt insulted. Why you didn't pay attention? Who is hurt? That non-existent makes it so real as though that alone exists, and that is what is important. All the troubles, where do they come out from? From this seemingly existent ego. That which exists not is perceived as existing. There is another technical definition of Maya. Again, the same definition, Sanskrit. Ya, ma, sa, Maya. Ma means to measure. Mana, parimana is a measurement. That which can be measured is limited. That sense of measured limitation that we can measure, that because of which we can perceive that limitation, that because of which that limitation appears real, is called Maya. Meaning anything that you can measure, anything measurable is Maya. That is why prema, love, is immeasurable, is beyond Maya. What can you measure? Weight. Unreal. Anything that can be bound in the definition of a limitation of measurement is Maya. Because what that supreme is, unlimited, immeasurable. Ya, ma, that which can be measured, becomes limited. Because the moment we measure how much kala parimana, desha parimana, vastu parimana, kala parimana, time, measurable, limited, bound in limitation. Even this satsanga is limited. Why? Starts at 7:30, ends at 9 o'clock. You may be thinking, thank goodness. क्या हमारे घर बार नहीं है क्या? You have to get back home. Called kala parimana. That which is born has to die. Kala parimana. You measure it in inches, centimeters, foot. Measurable. Desha parimana. Desha parimana is the place, space can be measured in length, breadth and width. Then it is kala, desha, vastu parimana. If it is solids, kgs or pounds. If it is liquids, it is liters or gallons. If it is air, cubic feet or cubic meters, this is the parimana. Anything that comes under this purview of measurement limits, and that limitation is perceived. That perceived limitation is called Maya. Yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyat atmano mayam yatha abhaso yatha tamaha. In the planets, do you have a planet called Rahu? In Indian astrological system, we have a planet called Rahu. Does it really exist? when there is solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. Rahu grasta divakarendu sadushaha. It is eaten up by Rahu. Where is this Rahu show? No, it comes only in the eclipse time. Is that Rahu real? Just a shadow. But that shadow is taken as a reality. All that which our eye perceives is not real. We perceive the sunrise and sunset. We perceive the sky to be blue. The perceptions are very deceiving. But still we go, the first impression. How deceiving that is. It says, Yatha abhaso yatha tamaha. That Rahu, which is non-existent, is just a mere shadow, but is perceived to exist. Another beautiful example that can be taken is, I was just asking them, when you touch a snake, first thing that you notice that it is cold. It is not a warm-blooded animal, it is a cold-blooded. I had touched it once or twice. When the snake charmer was holding it, that is, I touched it. It is cold. It is slippery, slimy. And when you hold onto it, it is squishy. And then a rapid, wavy movement it has. If your hold is not good, it can slip. In the darkness, when you perceive a rope to be a snake, where was the snake? It takes the adhara of something, and because of the ajnana of the adhara, adheya, that which is projected on it, is in here imaginary. On that supreme, that imaginary projection of these limitations is called Maya. Again, why does this happen? Once you go into Gurudev's logic, if there is an effect, there is a cause. There can be no effect without a cause. Logic of spirituality, this comes. I think you all got the DVDs, right? I don't know whether it did good or not. Those parents who had come, the kids have started watching it. And their question is, Swamiji, Gurudev said, everything should have a cause. Right? What is the cause of Parabrahma? I said it is causeless. But according to Gurudev's logic, it has to also have a cause. Then you go into this chakra of cause and effect. And it says these vasanas lead to the effect called karma. Karma becomes the cause to lead to the effect called asana. Then we get into the loop. KH22. Which was the first karma which led to asana? Or which was the first vasana which led to karma? If it were the first vasana, where did it come in first place? Very strange logic, a strange loop that we get into. When somebody asks, seed or the tree, which one came in first? Unsolvable mystery. There was this Swamiji, he was asked once by a group of students, Anda pehle ki murgi pehle? He says, I don't understand egg, I am vegetarian. Believe me, that kid came prepared. he took out an anda. He took out an egg and said, "Ise anda kehte hain." So Swamiji looked at it and said, "Is ande ke liye murgi pehle." No, Swamiji, you are not getting my point. In the beginning, which was it? Karma or vasana? I said, neither. How can it be? The cause of both being ajnana. The ajnana and its effect at the vyashti, at the individual level, is called maya at the samashti level. That is called the reason, or that is stated as a reason for all the existing confusions. Born out of ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of tattva, ignorance of that essence, ignorance of that reality. The moment you know that this is not a snake, it is a rope, all the erroneous perceptions projected that this was a snake, and the after effects of projecting it to be a snake, the fear, the scare, the precipitation, the palpitations of the heart, like what he had while he was chanting today Aarti. I could see his heart. More faster than that is when you see a snake. And then somebody flashes a light and says, "Hey, why is your heart beating so loudly? There is no snake." All the after effects of that being a snake are washed out. Is it not? Perception of reality, knowledge, experience of reality takes away. That alone takes away the erroneous perception. So long that we are not awareful, so long that we are in ignorance, either it is complete ignorance or complete knowledge. I think I have grown in spirituality 50%. Another 50% and I will be there. I will be mukta. I am now half liberated. I will be completely liberated. Acha, badhiya. Now when you look at this snake, is it that half of it appears snake and half of it appears rope? And the moment you flash a light and one end of that light where that rope is found, you say, okay, this end is rope. Now flash the light on the other end. Maybe at the other end it is a snake. In knowledge, the perception of reality, it is complete. It is not in percentages. Either you are there or you are not there. How do I know when I am there? When that very question stops. That is when you are there. How do I know when I am full? When you are there, you will know. Here it is called Dakara. There it is called Omkara. When you have that absolute firmness of knowledge that I am that reality, till then we are under the effect, the limitations of Maya. This very beautifully, second shloka explains Maya. How are the effects of Maya? That is taken into discussion in the third shloka. Yatha mahanti bhutani bhuteshu cha vacheshvanu bhuteshu cha vacheshvanu pravishtani apravishtani Tatha teshu na teshvaham. How are these modifications? This is the definition of Jagat. And this is not something new, we have already heard it. Those who have been coming here in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have already covered this chapter, this particular topic. Yatha mahanti bhutani bhuteshu uccha avacheshu anu. Mahanti bhutani, the 5 nascent elements, 5 great elements, expressing as all the creatures, the big and the small, Uccha and the small ones. I am in them, but I am not in them. Say it again. I am in them, but I am not in them. Because of me, you see it. But that which you see, I am not in it. This is little confusing. Why can't they make it simple? In fact, it is very simple. Because it is straight as a jalebi inside, that this appears crooked. Just inside the system is conked off. So what is straightforward appears to be wound. And let us take few examples. The same old example. Electricity. Electricity is because of which the bulbs glow. I know this is an old one, but do you know why we did not have tube lights here? This is a completely desi standpoint. Then only you will understand. Why we don't have tube lights in this hall? Because tube lights come and go. Chamkani. Hence, therefore, proven. The bulbs. Why do they glow? Because the electricity graces them. The moment it touches, it expresses as light. And sometimes when you are sitting just underneath that, it has heat also. Right in the temple where I sit, it was very powerful. I removed it. And more so because of the deforestation, I start feeling the heat more. It has light and sometimes heat too. The same electricity, when it goes through this system, it is called the PA system, public address system. It comes as noise. It gets amplified noise. If it makes meaning, it is sound. If it doesn't make meaning, many sense, then it is noise. The choice is yours. And then the same electricity is controlled through those panels to maintain the temperature. It gives us cooling environment, cooled environment, or the heated environment. Now when we look at the effects and then conclude, oh, so electricity means, hence therefore, technically, logically, sequentially going, technically it says, electricity is what is giving all these results, hence therefore electricity should be heat and cold, electricity should be light, electricity should be sound or noise. Are these the definition of electricity? No. But would these effects exist without the presence of electricity? that because of whose presence you can see the effect, but the effect, that quality is not there in the cause. Very clear, simple example. If you take away that cause, effect does not exist. Different forms of gold. If you wear it here, it is called a bangle. If you wear the same thing here, it is called a earring. Sometimes you find these people wearing big ones, round. So I consider it as a bangle misplaced. And the same thing, the same gold, when it takes the form of necklace, then it goes around the waist. See, that is one benefit of having a lot of BMI. You can have a bigger waistband. It is such a profit. You don't believe me? Okay, fine. Now in all these ornaments, keep the ornaments. Donate the gold. The moment you remove, subtract the cause, the effect is not there. The moment you remove electricity, there are no effects. But looking at the form, looking at the effect, looking at the name, you cannot say that this name, this form, this quality exists in the main cause. Similarly, what is the reality of this Jagat? This Jagat could not have been perceived if the consciousness in here were not there. Now, Swamiji, even if I am not there, the world still exists, right? If you are not there, who is perceiving it to say that the world exists? The others. How do you know that the others are there? It is in the presence of this consciousness alone that everything is perceived. But that which is perceived is not the quality of the one because of whom it is being perceived. Pravishtanti apravishtani tatha teshu na teshu aham. Though I seem to express as them, but I am not in them. What is in the wave is water. What is in the ripple is water. What is in the foam is water. But because of the waviness or the rippleness or the foamness, does the water get bound or does the water become limited? No. Waviness, rippleness, foamness is of that shape. That shape is not mine. Though the shape cannot exist without me. This is the satta, this is the reality of this so-called real world. It appears to be real, but is not. If this be understood, how would be the sadhana? How should be the sadhana? That is given in the 4th shloka, 35th one. Etavadeva jignasyam tattva jignasunatmanaha anvayavyatirekabhyam yat syat sarvatra sarvada. Etavat eva jignasyam. If at all anything has to be known, anything has to be inquired upon, anything has to be acknowledged, this is the truth that has to be. Tattva jignasunatmanaha. is to understand this essence of my own existence and the existence of this pluralistic world, multiplicity of this world. What is it? To understand the essence. How? The process of understanding this is called Anvaya Vyatireka Sadhana. This is the sadhana. Anvaya Vyatireka. The other day, somebody brought in Bhiksha, their family came in, and as I was observing the kid, you know what this South Indian, they make pulihodre, lemon rice or the tamarind rice. As the kid was eating, the process of eating was very slow. Why? He was excavating. That kid was excavating something. And I paid attention. What is he excavating? All the peanuts are being excavated. And then exported. Excavated and exported to father's plate. Why? I said, I don't like them, I don't care for them. That is Anvaya Vyatireka Sadhana. It is as simple but has to be applied with that much sincerity. That which is required, that which is real is taken, that which is unreal, that which is not required, that which is limitation is negated. What is the standpoint of what to be accepted and what to be rejected? Said, Yat syat sarvatra sarvada. A simple standpoint. What is it that exists everywhere at all times is alone accepted. The rest of them are rejected. Instead of classifying the world as good and bad, positive and negative, like and dislike, which you are very famous at, right? You are anyway doing that Anvaya Vyatireka. Instead of doing it from the platform of likes and dislikes, shun away from the platform of likes and dislikes, but apply it in accepting that which is Sat, that which is existing everywhere at all times. Sarvatra, everywhere. Sarvada, at all times. That alone is real. Pursue only that. And that which does not fall into this qualification of existing everywhere at all times is rejected. And what is the mindset of rejection? It is not with dislike, hatred. I don't know. No. It is total indifference to that. Complete indifference. That sense of indifference born because of the knowledge of this perception is called dispassion. Dispassion is not, I will not eat, I will not think, I will not do. That doesn't work. One fine day, boom, it will blast. Because all that which you have bottled up goes out. You know, heavily loaded spring. What works in the gun and other things is a spring. You twist it, you twist it, you twist it, subject it to a lot of tension. And one moment it triggers, it releases with a lot of force and effect. What is dispassion? Dispassion is that which is born of clarity and knowledge, so that you are completely indifferent to that which does not exist everywhere at all times. Why is it that you are totally indifferent to it? Because it does not exist everywhere at all times. If it does not exist everywhere at all times and it is not permanent, and what I am searching for is something which is permanent, find that. How you find it, where you find it, is your skill. When you turn towards this kind of an analysis, it is called Nivritti Marga. When you turn towards the other side, it is called the Pravritti Marga. In Pravritti, you cannot find it. You cannot find it through karma, you cannot find it through any other process. You can find it only through the process of knowledge. Jnane naivatu kaivalyam natu anyatha. Meaning this Anvaya Vyatireka has to lead. I have found some people who after years of practice come to the conclusion of Anvaya Vyatireka. This sadhana, this whole thing is not yielding anything. So reject that. And then go back to the same mechanical rut. Now to understand these four. This whole Bhagavat is set up in such beautiful pattern. The first canto talks about the adhikara. Adhikara, who is qualified. What kind of shrota, what kind of vakta. I told you what kind is not. The sota and vakta is not. It is the shrota and the vakta. The adhikara is nirnaya. The second canto talks about the sadhana. The rest of the 10 cantos are aligned in such a way that these 4 shlokas are expounded in such a manner that the questions asked by Parikshita earlier in 7th chapter of the second canto are answered sequentially. What are those patterns? That is said in the 10th canto. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanamutayah manvantaresha anukatha nirodho mukti ashrayah. When you look at the poetry, sometimes it is amazing. All 10 put in one shloka. Now this one shloka is expounded in another 18,000 shlokas. Amazing is the capacity to edit, expand. The first one, Sargaha. The second one is called Visargaha. Third, Sthanam. Fourth, Poshanam. Fifth, Uti. I'll explain what they are. They're all new terminologies. Don't get carried away by the terms. The meaning will make sense. How many done? Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, Poshana, Uti. Manvantara, Ishanukatha, Nirodha, Mukti, Ashraya. 10. The first shloka of the 10th chapter gives us these 10. Before Parikshit could ask, what are these 10? He says, oh, tham zara. Wait. Give me some time and room to explain. Dasamasya, all these 10 are explained. What is the purpose? It says, Vishuddhyartam, the wrong, erroneous perception from various standpoints and angles that has been conceived to be real. To purify oneself from that erroneous perception, these 10 are being explained. What is the first one? The first one being Sarga. From the Ishvara till the creation of every single element in this universe. Sarga meaning creation. Creation is explained. To tell what? To not prove creation, to not give the logic of creation, but to prove that that Supreme alone is the substratum of this entire universe. That is the bottom line. Then comes Visarga. Visarga is that from that Virata, when the manifest world takes place, when the Sarga, the creation, gets modified into what we see, into the manifest world, it is called Visarga. Visarga meaning that which is Vividha Bhavena Vyakti Kurvanti, which expresses in various forms of manifest world. It is called Visarga. Then the third one is called this whole Srishti. Where is the sthana? Where is it being sustained? That sustenance. Why is it being sustained? How is it being sustained? Who is sustaining it? It is not again what is being sustained. The focus is on who is sustaining it, why is it being sustained, and how is it being sustained. The focus is on who is the sthana. Poshana. Now Poshana is in this world. Various kinds of devotees, how are they protected, processed and taken forward to the highest experience of Supreme? That is the actual Poshana. Even when you feed your own children, what is the idea? To provide nourishment so that they grow to the expectation, grow to the maximum capacity. What is the maximum capacity? Is to understand, to realize that you are that self. That is called Poshana. Then, Ishanukatha. Lord in his troubleshooting manifests. What do I mean by troubleshooting manifests? In this creation, if there are some kinds of discrepancies, yatha yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati, he takes the form of a troubleshooter. Different avatars, don't they all come with their weapons? To shoot out all the evil factors creating disturbances. Isha. Anukatha and his devotees, their katha. Why is this being told? So that the great splendor of that Supreme, as well as the sadhana done by the devotees to reach to that Supreme. Because the logic that has been said in these 4 shlokas, there are some shlokas wherein you are like, I don't know what you are saying. Neither the logic, nor the example, nor the sample makes sense. Whatever was kind of expression. It was too abstract. But the same abstract tattva, when lived through the devotees, when the devotees live it and experience it one step after the other, it shows us the method of its applicability in our lives. And also develops faith that these are not some cock and bull stories aired by Vedavyasa and the rest of them, but something which is really proven, something which is experienced, something which is achieved by the earlier. And they say, when walking on snow, at least when walking on snow, follow in the footsteps of your leader. You know what will happen if you start jumping around here and there? Yadgatva nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. You go into that level wherein you can't come back. At least on walking on snow, especially on the mountaineering, when you go to the Everest and other places, this is the advice. And for that reason, he's explained this Ishanukatha. Then is the Uti. What does Uti mean? the jivas with different vasanas, express with different karma, yield various kinds of results in this world and the world after. They again explained for what reason. Not to show the prominence of karma, not to show the prominence of the results of karma, but to say that when unconsciously not being vigilant when we perform karma, it yields these kinds of results. That's what I was saying yesterday. The 5th canto describes it. I'm going to enjoy that chapter. That is called Uti. So we covered Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, Poshana, Uti, Ishanukatha, Manvantara. Different kalpa of creation, different kings with their Dharma Shastra have ruled this world. And they have lived the absolute form of Dharma, Shuddha Dharma. Just by blindly applying it, also you will reach to that Supreme. Just to show how Dharma-baddha life one has to lead through the Manvantara Katha. Then is the Nirodha. Nirodha, when Lord goes into Yoga Nidra, how does it get withdrawn? That is also explained. Again, to show that he is the substratum into whom everything merges back. Then comes Mukti. Mukti means liberation. I was giving another example. For Sishtata, I will not say it here. But let me put it this way. Mukti from what? Mukti from Ajnana, ignorance, and the effects of ignorance as Kartrutva and Bhoktrutva. The Kartrutva Karana being Vasana. Bhoktrutva, which leads to further deepening of Vasana. As this Vasana gets deeper, again Kartrutva is born, again Vasana is generated. Mukti from this, meaning by removing the main cause, the root cause, which is Ajnana. All that you have to do is strike away a. Just simple. What is sadhana? To remove a from the Ajnana. That is called Mukti. Then is called the Ashraya. Ashraya for the Utpatti, Sthiti, Pralaya happens in the mere presence of that consciousness. That is the only substratum Ashraya. The 10 chapters cover this. Let me put it in a very simple way before I conclude. You wanted to plan something. So you found a solitude, sat there, and you are thinking. The moment your main goal is understood, that this is what I want to achieve, you could put it as your grand vision. That is your sarga. Now to achieve that sarga, grand vision, you break it down into doables of small goals, so that you can start executing them, manifesting them. It is called Visarga. Then the Sthana. Now where was the Sarga? Here. Where is the Visarga? In here. Or from whom is the Visarga? From here. Where is the Sthana? In my mind. Who is the Poshaka? Who is the one who is sustaining it, nourishing it? I, the conscious awareness who is nourishing it. When I withdraw, Nirodha. If I don't withdraw, it continues. Then it becomes Bandha. The moment I establish a sambandha, it turns into bandha. If I withdraw from it completely, without trace, then I am mukta. So for all these 10 things, who is the focal point? It is me, that consciousness who is the ashraya. This being the bottom line, these 10 points are further described, explaining and expounding upon that Chatushloka, answering Parikshit's questions from 3rd canto onwards. So in this chapter we covered, in this particular canto we covered the sadhana of the Virata, sadhana of the Taijasa, the expressed form. We did the sadhana of the vibhutis of the Lord, vibhuti of the glories of the Lord. Then we saw the glory of the Lord explained by Brahmaji to Narada. When questioned by Narada, he said this knowledge was given in the 4 shlokas by the Lord himself. And thus we come to the end of 2nd canto. Next month we will continue with the 3rd canto. When is it next month? Definitely we will meet next year. 15th through the 19th is the supposed date. So we will continue with Bhagavata Shastra from 15th onwards. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So you can come with your Guru Dakshina, offer it there at the feet of the Lord and Gurudev, and then take the Yajna Prasada here. This Yajna Prasada was designed